My problem proposal pitch for sustainable design um, is going to be on accessibility and social equity and interior architecture because I feel like we more focus on sustainable designs for environmental reasons and to lower waste and stuff like that. And I feel like we should focus more on like the sustainability of the other people, the community, and how it affects others, along with people with disabilities. Um, my table of contents is going to be my introduction, social sustainability, inclusive sustainability, and design for everyone. So who am I? I'm Karen Celeste Meek, a pre-interior architecture major, and I minor in new media and design. So what is my problem proposal? I decided to go into how accessibility and social equity is always in sustainable designs, and often sustainable structures aren't accessible for everyone and is more for higher class and able people. Um, so here's my first topic, social sustainability. We often look more into social sustainability in interior architecture, focusing on the environmental impact, when we also have to think about the social sustainability as well. So, with social sustainability, did you know that most sustainable buildings fail to address social equity? Sustainable designs should go beyond carbon footprints and saving materials and think more about, oh, how will this affect our community and how will it affect the other people that are not as able bodied to get into most sustainable structures that are built nowadays? Because they might be sustainable, but they're not sustainable for people with like different mental disorders or physical disorders or just for not for everyone in general and different cultures as well. It doesn't bring everyone together in different cultural communities. Um, so with social sustainability, there's an affordability barrier, which most like eco-friendly materials and technologies are more expensive. So it kind of gentrifies communities along with like making it more accessible for the richer people. So lower income communities don't really get to experience the, I guess, bliss of having sustainable designs in their community because either they're not able to access it because it's more for like the rich people who can afford going there, if it's like a restaurant or different types of buildings that hold events. Most people can't afford to go to those buildings and enjoy those structures. Um, They also often have limited accessibility with like universal design principles being ignored, such as having like bigger graphics on, I guess, signs and stuff. So people with like vision problems don't really get to see like what's going on because they don't often have bigger graphics. They kind of go for a more minimalistic design. And also it doesn't always like integrate with people with cognitive needs as well. And with the cultural integration, sustainable designs kind of disregard traditions. So there's not much like places for people with the cultural community, such as like African American people or Hispanic people or any other cultural communities. Usually those buildings kind of gentrify their communities and doesn't give them space to have their own like party or fiesta or whatever they want to do. Or it doesn't really let them bring out their artistic values within their community. Um, it also comes with, I mean, my other point is inclusive sustainability. Inclusive sustainability helps with people creating like places that serve everyone in the community, not just like the richer people. And we also need to figure out different ways for materials that are sustainable to be in a more affordable way because communities that have a lower income don't always get like the full aspect that other communities do that have a higher, I guess, people who have a higher income in those communities they usually get sustainable structures and lower communities really don't because the costs for the materials usually are more expensive, so we should try to recycle more and use more low cost materials so people can have access to that. And they should also address neurodivergency, disability access, and people's health, such as like having the lights in places less overstimulating for people, or having like places that are like sensory for neurodivergent people as well, or disability access, such as like desks that might help people in wheelchairs or whatever they have be able to sit down wherever they want. And also for people's health, like if they have canes or like visual disabilities or something like that, make things more visible for them so they don't have like things in their way of sight or like in their path. Um, Also, local communities should have more access to sustainability as well, because a lot of lower community places aren't very sustainable and they don't always have like the best quality stuff in general, so they should be allowed to have that privilege like other communities do. So, with materials, recycling is cheaper, and with places that are like local shipping places or local wood, whatever you need, that they should buy from those places because that can also help small businesses in that area, along with making it sustainable because you're not using a whole bunch of gas to travel it from one place to another. And it should be low cost, so like people can have more accessibility to it with people in lower classes. They should also have inclusive standards, which enhances areas to bring communities together, such as like a plaza that's sustainable and everyone can like have parties or whatever they need in those areas and brings the community together. And we should expand on well standards and focus on people's mental well being, physical well being, and whatever they need, and not just on what will help the ecosystem like grow. They should think about the people as well, not just the earth. And with participatory designs, which should bring people more together, because nowadays a lot of people are more segregated or they're more on their phones. People don't really socialize as much, so they should bring those type of designs back so people have the excuse to be around each other and not so far apart. And we should move away from corporate sustainability metrics. I forgot another point. Uh, so in my previous slide, I brought up how 17% of well certified places are in like lower income communities. I had forgot to bring that up, but that is at the top of one of my slides. And I feel like we should incorporate that more and like bring that rating up and probably add more rules to it. So places need to add like places where people have a better mental standing as well as physical and to help others with like neurodivergent disabilities or whatever they have. Um, but yeah, my next topic is design for everyone. So, how can designers move beyond environmental impacts to create a truly equitable place? Through designers moving beyond the environmental impact, it'll help ensure people with like physical and mental needs are able to feel more like they're cared about because often we ignore them in our designs, and it'll help them navigate spaces better, as well as sensory conscious designs for neurodivergent individuals, because they don't think about how these places could be overstimulating. Let's have like a calm place for people with sensory issues, so they can like chill out if they're having like an overstimulated time, or like have more calming light fixtures, and like I guess more fidgety things that they can mess with, no matter what age you are. People with like a neurodivergent brain, they need more sensory things around them rather than just like plain modern kind of designs. Um, Also, they should make it more cost efficient for communities and underserved places. So, like more places that have like lower income places, like for me at least in Wilmington, kind of more downtown, they should have more sustainable designs down there, which they do, but it's not to the point where I feel like our black community down there can be integrated fully. They need like a place for more community and like for everyone to get together so it's more comfortable, which they are getting to that point, but I feel like there are more steps that could be taken for that. And also, like I said earlier, WELL certification should recognize mental wellness, equity, and user experience. So they should add those to the certification for buildings if they want the WELL certification. Um, so this is an example of California State University clothing closet. So within their university, they have like a food pantry, community, kitchen, financial aid places, clothing closet, etc. So kind of helps the students in that area. It helps the community of California State University, and overall probably helps a lot of people mentally and physically because they can actually be fed with the donation places or like have clothing on their back or have a jacket if they didn't have the money for it. Because I know a lot of people come here poor, like me. I basically didn't really have much winter stuff, so that open closet we have kind of helped me so I can have more clothes for the winter. Um, Also, at CHOS Autism Center, they kind of represent, um, they give representation for people with neurodivergency, so they have like labels and graphic designs so people can feel more comfortable going into the room that they're going into so they know like, oh, this goes on here and I'm prepared for it because I know sometimes going into a room or doing something kind of can make you uncomfortable and you don't know what to expect. So that kind of helps them kind of calm down and know what they're getting into. And overall, it just like helps them feel more secure in the environment. Um, Also, the Keener campus contains like high stimulating areas, which like within the classrooms and corridors, they have seating areas. This isn't in this photo, but it's another example of what we could do to integrate, like, I guess, social sustainability and stuff like that. And it can help a lot of students mentally as well to just have a place in the hall. Because I know personally that would be nice for me in high school or like any grade, because I would also often have like panic attacks or anxiety attacks. So having a place outside to just sit down would be really nice. And also at like Texas Christian University, they have cultural events and let people express their identity and support all their students. So through that, it makes people feel more comfortable with their culture and community while they're away from their families, which connects everyone and helps you make more friends and connections through those events. Um, so thank you for watching my slide. I got my presentation like slide template from SlidesGo. I did replace the pictures though, and I have those in my references. So here are my references. But yeah, thank you.